Hi guys, alright, happy Witchy Wednesday. So, happy Beltane. Actually it would be, let's see, it's not tomorrow, but it would be April 1st, or May 1st, not April. Wow. Anyways, yeah, Coke Black, or Coke Zero? Coca-Cola Zero? Don't ever drink it? Oh my god. I've never been so sick in my fucking life from it. Anyways, alright, so Sabbats. We're just going to do a brief from the Mysica.com because they have such wonderful information and I love it. So we're just going to do a little bit of the Mysica on Sabbats since we have a lot of Sabbats coming up and it's going to be wonderful. And patrons, you guys are getting all of your recipes and all of your goodies. And then I'm going to need I will message you guys privately. So, here we go. So history of the Sabbats, so as with most aspects of witchcraft of the Sabbats, or, assemblies at which witches meet, that's a tongue twister, at which witches meet, on certain days of the year have been distorted by Christianity, because Christians distort and pervert and perverse everything that we have done in the past, our ancestors, the witches that came before us. So most of these distortions evolved out of the witch hunts, which occurred during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, and we all know that. So the Sabbats were depicted as meetings where obscene behavior occurred, such as worshipping and copulating with the devil after a session of dancing, merrymaking, and feasting on a foul animal or unbaptized baby, which is false. It's terrible. That's the stupidest depiction of what we stand for and our literal holy days. Oh, alright, anyways. However, the origins of the Sabbats seem to be a mixture of rites that still do exist, such as the great Druidic festivals of Beltane observed on April 30th, so tomorrow. Happy Beltane, guys. So, and Samhain, which is observed on, October 31st anyways, and the entrenched idea that heretics hold obscene rituals. Ridiculous. Possibly the Sabbats also are related to the Bacchanalian and Saturnalian rites observed by the Greeks and the Romans. I love that. Bacchanalian and the Saturnalian. So the term Sabbat is from the Old French and it is partially derived from the Hebrew Sabbath, means to rest. So, which pertains to the seventh day of the week, as designated by the Ten Commandments in the Bible as a day devoted to rest and worship. But the Ten Commandments were given to Moses, who had been on top of a mountain where there is lack of oxygen, so you're going to hallucinate. When you have lack of oxygen, you're going to hallucinate. A burning bush, hallucinations, you're going psychotic. He should have been burned as a witch in that time. I mean, everybody else was, why wasn't Moses? So, So, some historians theorize that the decorative connotation of Sabbat, as it was applied to heretics and witches, was possibly anti-Semitic, since the Jews were also classified as heretics. So, well, we have one thing in common. I love Jewish people, and we're all heretics, Christians. Well, another term which was synonymously used with Sabbat was the synagogues, in which heretics and sometimes witches supposedly met. So Sabbat was more prominently used in continental Europe, where the witch hunts were more fierce than it was in England. So there's no record of a witch Sabbat in England prior to 1620, except for the mention of the term in the Lancaster witch trials of 1612. So the term was first introduced in an Inquisition trial at Toulouse, France in 1335. So it, along with Sabbath, did not appear regularly until the mid-15th century. So once it made its appearance in trails, it quickly assumed common usage. The times and locations that the Sabbats were held were quickly and definitely fixed too. Of course, they were said to be held at night in remote locations such as mountains, caves, and deep forests. The Brocken in the Harz Mountains of Germany was the best known place for holding Sabbats. Ooh, I could still love it. It would still be amazing. I would go. So there, one of the greatest feasts was said to occur on Beltane, April 30th. So the witches' modes of transportation to the Sabbats were quite imaginary. So witches were said to have flew through the night, either on the backs of demons that had, wow, I've never heard of this word before, metapsychost? metempsychosed into animals, morphed into animals, or astride broomsticks. The witches themselves sometimes changed into animals and were accompanied by their familiars. So they were said to fly home before daybreak. That's, we have hallucinogenics, we have, the ointments, the flying ointments, all of that stuff. So obviously we were not flying like they think. But it'd be fun. I mean, honestly, that would be fun. So the Sabbat night varied. So some witches said to have attended weekly Sabbats, while others said they only went like once or twice a year. So now we have Sabbats of modern witchcraft. So Sabbats observed by witches and traditions, and solitary witches of modern witchcraft and neo-paganism are not diabolical and have nothing to do with the devil or demonical worship. Usually they are considered to be 8 seasonal holy days of the year, which correspond to the former pagan season festivals. The rites celebrated at the Sabbats are centered in nature. So they contain the ancient pagan customs of Europe and the British Isles, especially the Celtic traditions, and newer elements of the modern craft and neo-paganism. So the central worship is of the goddess, the horned god, and nature, which give the participants ample opportunity to give thanks for the bounties of the earth. Wonderful. Simply by going outside and mowing your grass and thanking the earth for what she's done for us, our mother. That in itself can be it can be a rite, it can be a ritual in and of itself, and it's wonderful. Alright, anyways. So, not all traditions, though, however, celebrate the 8 Sabbats, but only observe those important to their history and custom. So they observe the Sabbats in their own way, some sky-clad, while others in traditional or ceremonial dress. I would personally say sky-clad right now because I'm burning up. But then again, I found my ritual robe and I love it, and it fits now because I have filled out because I eat so much. But anyways, while others created new practices. So the Sabbats of Beltane and Samhain are the most universally observed. Now the greater Sabbats at their observation dates are Imbolc, February 2nd, Beltane, obviously, tomorrow, April 30th, Lughnasadh, July 31st, and Samhain on October 31st. Now we have the lesser Sabbats, which fall on the solstices and equinoxes. The winter solstice, December 22nd, spring equinox, or Ostara, March 21st, the summer solstice, June 21st, and autumn equinox, September 21st. I like. Now the winter solstice, December 22nd, marks the longest night of the year. It is when the goddess awakes to find that she is pregnant with the sun god. So the ritual for both the summer and winter solstices are designed to help change the course of the sum. The winter solstice has been Christianized as Yule or Christmas. So February 2nd, Imbolc, a winter purification and fire festival, often called the Feast of Lights. Imbolc, or Imbolg, pronounced Imolg, which means in the belly, and it signifies the growing of life in the womb of Earth, Mother Earth. It celebrates Bridget, the Irish Celtic goddess of fire, fertility, crops, livestock, wisdom, poetry, and household arts. So Imbolg brings the first signs of life in the darkness of the earth. The goddess prepares for the birth of the sun god. So this Sabbat has processionals and commentaries, or commemorates the presentation of Christ in the temple. So Eastern Church, or the purification of the Virgin Mary in the Western Church. It's so crazy. There's a lot of, so yeah. So Imbolc also corresponds with Groundhog Day, the popular litmus test for the arrival of spring. And we have the spring equinox on March 21st, a solar festival, which I love. It's really nice, in which day and night and the forces of male and female are equally balanced. So this is the first day of spring, which marks the birth of the infant sun god and makes way for the lushness of summer. Dionysian rites are performed. The Christianizing of the Sabbath is obviously Easter. So Beltane, April 30th, one of the great Celtic solar festivals celebrated in ancient times with bonfires. So Beltane rites celebrate birth, fertility, and the blossoming of all life as personified by the union of the goddess and the sun god, also known in Christianized lore as King Winter and Queen May. So the celebrants jump over broomsticks, and dance around maypoles. Both are fertility symbols. So the Sabbats begins at moonrise on Beltane Eve. Supposedly it's bad luck to be out late that night, because witches and fairies roam the countryside in great numbers and conduct wild revelries. Well, that would not be a problem for us, would it, guys? Beltane bonfires are believed to bring fertility to crops, homes, and livestock. People dance diesel or clockwise around the fires or creep between the fires for protection against illness. Cattle are driven through the fires for protection against disease. Oh. Ancient druids lit bonfires on hills and uttered incantations. When Beltane was Christianized by the church, the pagan rites were replaced with church services and processionals in the fields where the priests lit the fires. Yeah. Summer solstice, June 21st, a solar festival which was almost universally celebrated, and especially in Europe. In the European tradition, the night before was Midsummer's Eve, a time for great magic, especially for love charms. So certain herbs were picked at midnight to bring potential or protection against lightning, fire, witchcraft, disease, and ill fortune. Witches and fairies roam on Midsummer's Eve as they do Beltane. There is a bit of madness in the air. I love it. So great bonfires are lit to help change the course of the sun in the sky. The rites resembles those of Beltane. Burning wheels are rolled down hills, and burning discs are thrown at the sun. Ooh. The zenith of the power of the sun god is manifested in the flourishing of crops and livestock. Now, the Sabbat was unfortunately Christianized to St. John's Day. John the Baptist. Alright, now, Lughnasadh, July 31st, a great festival of games and dance, named in honor of the Irish Celtic solar god, Lugh. The word Lughnasadh is related to words meaning to give in marriage and was once associated with marriage contracts. 9 months away is the next Beltane, so the birth of summer in life. According to medieval legend, the festival celebrates Lugh's marriage to the sovereignty of Ireland, the goddess Eru. A hag, Eru, is transformed into a beauty who personifies the land of Ireland. It reminds me of Beauty and the Beast, a little bit, huh? Yeah. So, where'd I go? First harvests are made, along with thanksgivings and rites to ensure the bounty of the crops for the coming year. So, to ensure this same purpose, some traditions observe, as a sacrifice, the death of the sacred king. In old pagan customs, the blood of a cock would be scattered over the fields. A chicken. A rooster, or a male rooster. So, alright. Alright, llamas. From the Old English term for loaf and mass is a Christianized name for an Old Saxon fruit and grain festival designated by the early English church. So the holiday celebrated the ripening of apples and winter wheat, the latter of which, according to tradition, was made into loaves and blessed in the church. Lammas Day was also to settle accounts. Now in Scotland, tenant farmers took their first grain harvests to their landlords on August 1st to pay rent. I wish I could pay rent in grain. That would be wonderful. Alright, now autumn equinox, September 21st. So, once again, day and night, male and female forces are equally balanced. Now, this is the time for the second harvest. So, traditionally, something mysteries are observed in rites and dramas. The mysteries concern the myth of Demeter and the daughter Persephone, and the attainment of immortality through the adoration of them. Now we have Samhain on October 31st, which we all know what it means, but it's even more beautiful when it's just read from this, so let's see what it has to say. I'm in a very funky mood. I think the fairy folk are playing with me. October 31st, an ancient Celtic festival which celebrates the beginning of winter, marked by death and the beginning of the Celtic New Year. Samhain means end of summer. So, the Druids in ancient Ireland once sacrificed to their deities by burning victims in wicker cages. Oh, God. All other fires were to be extinguished and lighted again from the sacrificial fire. This custom still continues in Ireland and Scotland. All fires in homes are extinguished and lighted again from bonfires, but without sacrificial victims. Obviously, no, we don't do that. That's very illegal. Samhain marks the third harvest and the storage of provisions for winter. So the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead is the thinnest during this time, making communications easier. I honestly find it easier to communicate on the winter solstice for me, but it's just always every day. Souls of the dead can come into the land of the living, and Samhain is a time for eliminating weaknesses when pagan once slaughtered weak animals that were thought to be able to survive the winter. This custom resulted in the modern practice by some who want to get rid of their weaknesses of writing them on a piece of paper and dropping them into a fire. So some baked cakes to be offered for the souls of the dead are also Dia de los Muertos. Samhain was Christianized into All Hallows Eve or Halloween. The modern custom of trick-or-treating may have originated from an old Irish peasant custom of going door to door to collect money, bread, cake, cheese, eggs, butter, nuts, apples, ooh, that all sounds good, and other foods in preparation for the festival of St. Columkill. Yuck. Ruin our holidays. So apples are included in many rites, especially as ingredients in brews. So dunking for apples or bobbing for apples may have been a divinatory practice, and they're not really sure. So that just gives us a history of the Sabbats, but I haven't even gone into traditional witchcraft Sabbats yet, and it's a lot more interesting than that. So I do hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys have a great Beltane, and I love you guys very much. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy Witchy Wednesday, and yeah, I got a lot more stuff that I want to get out and just share with you all. So as I read Traditional Witchcraft, A Cornish Book of Ways by Gemma Gary, it's great. So yes, I will be reporting back to you all. I love you guys with all my heart, all the way from Venus all the way back down. I love you all very much. First sunburn of the year. Hate it. I love you guys though, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.